Oh, hello everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to Hinterland. That's where we are. Boy, I think I almost forgot for a second where I was. So, I have been doing some work out here on our new field. This guy right here. Got it all plowed in. What else did I do? I plowed it. I limed it. And I am now fertilizing. Actually, hired help. Stopped him for a second, but hired help is doing the fertilizing for me. I am doing the seeding. I decided to go ahead and throw some canola on this field. It's actually, I think, the only thing we can plant this month. It is indeed. So, yeah, got the canola going. What am I doing with this seeder? Well, I actually leased it. I didn't buy it. I leased it. I'm still holding out. I'm hoping that the seeder I want, which, by the way, I was kind of got a chuckle out of. I didn't realize that the seeder that I want, which is this N542C, was just released this week on the Mod Hub. I had nabbed this, I guess, before it was released. I think maybe there was a beta, possibly, or something like that out there. And I saw that it was released on the Mod Hub, so I nabbed it from the Mod Hub. It's handy to get mods from the Mod Hub because when they get updated, they kind of automatically get updated. So it's a little bit easier than going back to a Facebook group or trying to find it on the the website that you originally downloaded it on and that kind of stuff. But anyways, this is the seeder I am keeping my fingers crossed for. $300,000 worth of seeder. But I went ahead and just leased this guy right here just to get the canola in the ground. Oh, and let's go back here. I have the John Deere working with Courseplay and getting some field prep done for spring, cultivating. So I figured, you know what? Why not get these fields cultivated? We can work on getting them prepped for spring. So when spring comes around, we don't have to rush. Because we're going to zoom through winter pretty quick, I have a feeling. Our sunflower field, right over yonder there, which, by the way, cracks me up. I love how the sunflowers in this game follow the sun. See how they're all just kind of leaning towards the sun. I don't know. I find that a nice detail from Giants. I think that's kind of funny. And if you look at them in kind of fast time, if you fast forward time, you can actually watch them sway around and just follow where the sun is. Even on cloudy days, which is kind of weird, but you know what? It's pretty cool to see them going to town. All right, let's lower. Let's fire up. I want to make sure I've actually got... What do I have going on here? I do have canola. It would probably tell me if I didn't have canola. Oh, I know what I need to do. We need to get our GPS working for us. Oh, that is my bad. I can see why that... Alright, there we go. Mouse button. My mouse button was thinking it was in Windows. It was actually... didn't realize that I was in a game. I've got my mouse buttons mapped. I think I've mentioned this before. Once in a while, the mouse buttons get a little bit confused. They think I'm still in Windows. So when I hit a mouse button, it does a Windows command instead of a game command. But we get that straightened out quickly and efficiently. Look at the flex in that seeder. Holy cow. That thing is just flexing, clanking around and flexing. So I hope you're all having a wonderful week. Happy Friday. Looking forward to the weekend. It's been an exhausting week. am looking forward to the weekend. Even though I've got some things I need to get taken care of this weekend, I am still very much looking forward to not having my wake-up time regulated. That's the biggest thing, right? I don't know if I'm ever going to be a morning person. I don't think I ever have been. I kind of have my doubts that I ever will be. I don't sleep in till noon like I used to. Man, I remember in high school, probably junior high, but definitely in high school, getting up around 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This just seems crazy to me now. You know, it just seems so foreign to me. And I know that my parents, they let me do that. I think they let me get away with that a little bit because I did have a job. So the days that I didn't work, especially in the summertime, I think they let me get away with a little bit more of that just because I wasn't just sitting around all the time. At least that's the way I want to remember it, right? Maybe I was. Maybe I was a lazy dude. I can't honestly remember if I was. What is, hold on one second here, Chief. I think our hired helper has lost its mind. Now, see, I don't even think, they don't need, why is it fertilizing our sunflowers? They don't even need fertilizing. So, what are you doing? What are you doing? Get out of our sunflower bed. That's kind of the problem when you've got fields that are kind of close together once in a while like this. You get kind of some weirdness going on, but we caught it in time. At least I didn't let it do the whole field, for goodness sakes. Now you get out of here and get out of the way. Thank you very much. He's still working all right. Looks like he's doing his business. We can get back to ours. So this field, yeah, never mind that weird texture thing right there. When I was plowing, I don't even remember what I did to get a different texture like that, but yeah, this is a pretty decent sized field. I don't know, I'm still looking, hopefully, to get us yet another field sooner than later. It's kind of weird having fields empty and not getting planted. It feels like a waste, you know, all those months. I mean, when we look at the calendar, I mean, we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's half a year. We could, I guess, potentially plant a couple of fields. Like, we could plant maybe 2 and 3 or something like that, I suppose. But I really kind of want to leave these fields open for stuff that's coming up in the spring. So it won't be so bad once we buy some more land and get more fields going. We can have a little bit better rotation going on. I did use some discretion, I will admit. This came into the store, this 9RX. Was very tempted, really tempted actually to buy that. But I reminded myself that we just bought an 8RX and we want to buy more land and we want to get the Redneck restaurant paid off. So I did use some discretion. Maybe not the best always, but this time around I actually did use some discretion. So I went in today and got an oil change. Desperately needed oil change. It's kind of overdue, needless to say. It's not horribly overdue. Mileage was pretty good. Time was overdue because I don't drive. My commute to work is actually relatively short. So in order to get that, 3,000 or 3,500, 5,000, depending on how you treat your oil, it takes me a while to get the kind of mileage on my car, typically. And they say, like, what is it? Nowadays, some people say 3,000. Some people say with today's oil, you can go 5,000 or 6,000. I guess if you use synthetic, you can go longer, blah, blah, blah. Or 6 months. I think that's the time frame is 6 months. So I went in today, and the oil change place that I normally go to had been sold, and I didn't realize it. Taken over by another oil change place. So it basically looked the same, but different name over the door, more or less. But I gotta tell you, I'm always nervous. I'm always just really nervous when I go into these quick oil change places, because you read about some of the nightmares that people have when it comes to getting their oil changed. Like, drove away and my engine imploded, you know, and you just hear about some of these crazy stories. I've generally had really good luck with oil changes, more or less. One time, and I'm going to admit, hopefully the oil change people never hear this, but I'm going to admit that I drive away from the oil change place, and I generally, within 5 minutes, pull over into a parking lot or something and check everything myself to make sure that, you know, the oil cap is put back on. Because I would rather, and I always feel guilty because I want to tell them, you don't have to change, you don't have to check the air filter, you don't have to check my coolant and my windshield washer fluid. I take care of all that. All I want you to do is change the oil. And I know that I probably could say that to them, and they'd probably just be like, oh, okay, fine. But I don't know, I'm not that comfortable about it. It's like complaining about your food at a restaurant, because you just know that they still have your food, and the next time you come in, you know what I'm saying, there's the whole spit factor and all that stuff going on. So I always just get a little bit nervous about complaining or saying something about service that could be easily ruined. And one time, and it didn't help that I did find something one time. Whoops. Did I detach? What did I just detach? I don't think I detached anything. I almost did. One time, I did actually pull over to check, and sure enough, the cap for the radiator overflow thing, you know, was off. And that was enough to be like, okay, I got to check every time now. I can't trust them. I can't trust them. But I went in today, got it done. Everything looked great. There were 2 ladies. That's it. 2 ladies in the place. One was probably a little bit older lady. I think she was probably in her 40s. I think she was the boss. And then there was a younger gal that was like, I appeared to be like her mid-20s, maybe at best. And they were the only 2 there, and they did everything. And the younger gal changed the oil, got up underneath there, she checked everything. I mean, I don't know that I should be surprised about this, but let's face it, that's not the norm, at least not where I live. That is definitely not the norm. The norm is you get these guys in these oil change places, and I have to tell you, I felt, no offense, but I honestly felt better with the 2 ladies that took care of me today and the oil change than I have about many of the guys that I have seen change my oil before. Women have demonstrated certain abilities that, let's face it, guys, we struggle with sometimes. We do. Not all of us, but some of us do struggle, like attention to detail, stuff like that. I've done a lot of shooting in my life, a lot of firearm shooting, and I will tell you this: some of the best shooters I've known have been women. They have a knack. They have a knack. It's a frightening knack. It's a very scary thing that they can be that good at firearms. But I tell you, some of the women I've shot with have been really, really good. And anyways, these two women at this oil change place, it was just different, and it was great, and they were awesome, and they did a great job, and I drove away, happy with an oil change. Oil changes aren't that complicated, so you shouldn't have to worry about an oil change. But I've heard nightmares about people going to car dealerships, to their own dealership, and having an oil change screwed up, And you would think out of any place that you should be able to go that could handle an oil change for your car is the dealership where you bought it, especially if it's a new car and that's the only kind of car they sell. But I've heard some not so good stories about some dealerships screwing up things like that. It's like going into a hospital, and you're going in for an appendix, and maybe you got to have your tonsils out or your appendix out, and you wake up and it's like, they removed an arm or something crazy. Some weird things have happened. Weird things have happened. But that was my excitement for today, an oil change. That's enough for me in one day. That's all I can typically handle. The light was out. The light down the road was out, so traffic was backed way up. I left the oil change place, and it was just like this line of traffic, and I'm thinking, man, this is going to be a long day. I hope they did everything right, because I don't want to be that person that has to be stalled in a 2-lane road, causing a major backup, that kind of thing. And the one gal started telling me, because they ask, like, when's the last time you checked, your air filter, or, when's the last time you had this done or this done, and things like that. And it was all good, but she mentioned, like, when's the last time you had you checked your cabin air filter? Because cars nowadays, and I guess for a while, have had, in not just air filters for the engine, but they've had in the cab, cabin engine or cabin air filters to purify the air you breathe while you drive, which I find kind of funny. I don't know how we ever survived growing up without air filters in the cabin of our cars. Oh, heaven forbid. But anyways, so she's telling me though about this one cabin air filter that she found from a car that she did, where they yanked it. I guess the person didn't even know they had one. They yanked it out, and it was just riddled with mold. Now, see, that's nasty. But had there not been a cabin air filter to begin with, there wouldn't have been an issue. Like, how much do those things really do? Like, I guess I really do question what value those in the cabin car air filters actually do. Now, I, for one, like to drive with my windows open. Generally speaking, if weather permitting, I like to drive windows open. And if that's the case, there's just air blowing in and out of the car constantly, so the air filter is not going to do any kind of good. I think they're kind of gimmicky. I think they're gimmicky. I think the car manufacturers got in like cahoots with the air filter manufacturers, and the air filter manufacturers said, "Hey, get this. You know how they make air filters for homes? Why don't we do that for a car? And if you do that for us, car manufacturers, if you just give us a little space there, usually behind the glove box. We'll produce air filters for that, and we'll give you a little something on the side, you know, for that $10-$20 air filter that people are going to feel like they have to replace every year because it's filtering the air inside of a car cabin. It's just insane to me. I don't know. Maybe am I being too critical about a car air filter, cabin air filter? It seems silly. I get the point of the engine air filter totally. That one, that's a trooper. That air filter deserves some respect, because that thing has to deal with some nasty stuff. That one I get, but nah, the one that's inside the car, no, come on. Seems like the old Kverneland's doing a nice job for us. Not a bad little seeder, is it? There is a lot going on with this seeder, though, isn't there? It looks like there is a lot going on with this seeder. Holy cow. I wonder what maintaining a seeder like this is like. It's got to be a nightmare, right? I mean, look at the number of hoses that could get clogged. Man, that's got to be, I mean, that's got to be a lot of work in and of itself, just maintaining a seeder like this. Now, in real life, this thing is massive, you know, and stuff. And so I'm thinking it's got all kinds of sensors on it. It's got to have just countless numbers of sensors going on. Probably a sensor for every hose to let you know if it's plugged. Maybe, I'm guessing they do. A sensor up here at the top, at this waterfall cascade of hoses coming off from the top here. Sensors coming from the tank for the hoses going back to the seeder. That's got to be insane. And the price of the thing's got to be kind of crazy too, I would think. What's going on with Seer? So you got, it's got to have the ability to pretty much flex not just side to side, but front and back, I would think too. Forwards and backwards, and goodness. You know how you adjust the height? There's got to be some depth controls or height controls on the thing too and stuff. I'd be curious in what something like this runs expense-wise in real life. I don't know how accurate the game is on prices. It's a mod too, so I'm not entirely sure how close it's going to be. 168,500 euros. That seems low. I mean, that's expensive, don't get me wrong, but doesn't that seem kind of low price-wise? Because, I mean, you got to figure a tractor. Now, granted, well, maybe not. Maybe that's not too bad. I was going to say, you know, you got to figure tractors easily can get into the $500,000 plus, right? But then they also have engines and all kinds of other stuff that is unnecessary for a seeder to have. See the connections coming off there. How many connections are there? 1, 2, is there 4? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? maybe 5 there. That this line of shrubs right here is the edge of the map. And when I made this field, I was kind of thinking, you know what? I want to leave some room at the edge here because I don't want to have to battle hitting the edge of the map all the time because it's like hitting a wall, right? And I still feel like maybe I got a little too close to the edge, and I left a decent amount of room, but I feel like it's, I guess with could do a couple headlands, you know, and probably would help a little bit, but we still have a lot of growth on this map. We've got a lot of territory to cover. No question about that. But we're getting there. I think we're gonna, I think before long we will have, we own that land right there. So when, after the sunflower harvest is done, I'm gonna grab a plow and I'm gonna extend that, at least I think I'm going to extend that field out all the way back there. So this field here, I'll just kind of bring out and extend it back to take advantage of this space that's open there that we do own now. So, but I want to wait till sunflowers are harvested, make life a little bit easier, just to connect our, you know, connect onto the existing field, that kind of thing. I should probably check on our John Deere, who is cultivating at the moment. See how they're doing. Let's get lined up and started here. And actually, oh, I need to, that's right, I gotta do that, and then I think I can hire, there we go. Hired helpers don't like to get hired if you're locked in on GPS. Are you done, my friend? Look at you knocking it out. Very nice. All right. I like this John Deere. It's been doing a good job. It's nice to have a little extra horsepower on the farm. It's actually less horsepower than the Fent, but I like its turning radius quite a bit. That's one thing about these tracked tractors. That sounds weird to say. Their turning radius on them are really nice. Who dat? Who you? Oh no, it's office worker guy. It's Docker's guy. Look at him. I don't trust him. Yeah, don't trust him at all. He's not going to be happy about the fact that I didn't give him any space here on the end, but he can deal with it. We'll clean up after him later. Hired helper's doing a pretty decent job here, it looks like. Yeah. Don't go that way. There you go. One thing I definitely need to keep an eye on these workers when you got fields like this, because if you're cultivating or plowing, and especially if you're even doing seeding with a direct drill that doesn't require cultivation, and they start work, I've had them go right over into the next field, and I totally forgot to check on them before, and they have like reseeded half of an entire adjacent field, and it's a bad thing. It's a very bad, sad thing. I want to keep my sunflowers happy. Very happy sunflowers. Happy sunflowers are good sunflowers. I should probably be paying a little bit of attention to our production that we have downtown. Omatana's got, I think with the map, don't you get some kind of production with the bakery down there? I should probably pay a little bit of attention to that and utilize that when possible. I don't think we've gotten anything yet that really we can use there, but hopefully we will eventually. We'll get the cloths back here. Oh, and yes, I was able to... Oh, man, I'll tell ya. Forgot to mention this little fun tidbit. So, as you know, in the last time that we were here... Hello, Mr. Tree. Our sausage bale deal here went flying, right? And so after I got done with the episode, I went ahead and just redid it and did some more work on the fields and stuff. And then I did a little testing. I saved everything and got everything locked in, you know, got it done. Then I came back into the game and did a little testing, and I tell you, you just do not want to grab on to these bale sausages with super strength enabled. They do not like that at all. In fact, you can grab onto them more or less, but don't slide them around. I was able to lift it a little bit here and there with some, well, without disturbing it much, but once I grabbed it and slid it over, yeah, it flew off again. So not a fun not a fun thing to do when you forget to save your game or you've got a bunch of work done that you have to do over. Kind of stinks, but I'm gonna just turn off super strength before I do something silly and make that mistake again. Well, I got that fast running on too, don't I? Who needs a tractor when you can just run? So I think that's going to do it for this episode of Hinterland. I'm going to continue onward and upward, which I guess is better than backward and down, right? Downward and backward. But keep getting some fields prepped. Of course, finish our canola planting. Might be a good thing to do. And I'll see you back here. Boy, I don't know. When I do see you back here, how's that? No promises for the weekend, but hopefully I'll get some more recording done. But thanks again for stopping in and watching the video. And leave a like, as always, if you enjoyed it. I'd really appreciate that. And a subscription if you'd like. That'd be fine, too. You all take care of yourselves and each other. And I will see you real soon. Bye for now.